So, to kick things off, I do start with the same boring ass question every time, though, because I refuse to sit down and think of something better. Simple introduction. Who are you guys and why are we having this chat?
I'm Brian, and this is Ivan. I'm introducing you, Ivan. We're from the band Good Terms, baby. Back again.
Yeah, yeah.
Revenge of the Terms.
I'll put that as the subheading for this episode. Yeah, so like what we were just talking about before the official start of this podcast, we had Zach and Geo on back in April of 21. I told people at that time to put you on the radar, and I still think people are sleeping on you. So let's talk about that first. Why the fuck do people not recognize how good Terms is right now?
It's because I put like subtle things in all of our social media content to get it blocked.
Yeah.
Every post we do, I put a little cancelable thing in there. So
Yeah.
the filters are like, no. It's dude. There's a lot of bands. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there vying for your attention, and a lot of them are very good. And I think that we're one of them that's very good. But it's a big ocean out there. So we also we just started really playing shows last year. I think in 2022 and 2023 we played like 17 shows total, and then last year we played 50 shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we've really just, and I think in our genre, especially, or in the rock music genre
Mm-hmm.
specifically, there's only so much you can do, um, on the internet. I
Yeah.
know as people have great success in the internet, and people can go viral and do great things, but there's a lot of there's a lot of ears you just can't get into unless you're at the shows. And I think also for us, we're trying to do the social media game. We're trying to do the modern thing that we should be doing. But we also are those people at shows. We like to see a live band.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that a lot of our art that we do just translates super well to a live show, and it translates to social media too. But it just the it's very easy to make a winning. I think for good terms to make a winning set.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, at least conceptually, than it is necessarily for social media.
Yeah. And I agree. And I don't know what the science behind it is, but like I think to your point, like TikTok virality, things like that. Like if you're a pop artist or a country artist, it seems like those are the ones that like you can kill it on social media for a long time. But to
Hmm.
your point, like in the rock world, the pop punk world, whatever, like I think the fan base is okay with it to some extent, obviously, but like they just want that feeling of live music. So it's like, okay, it's
It should,
cool that we see you playing in the garage again, but like, can you come to a fucking show?
yeah, I think it works best when it's both.
Yeah.
Which I mean, since the last time we talked, like 4 years ago, everything's doubled or tripled or quadrupled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I do think that what we're doing right now has been encouraging for the last, 2 years or so. We've added to our team on the industry side, on the behind the scenes side. We've got management, we've got a label, we've got a booking agent, we've got artists that we work with. We've really solidified our team there. We've played shows in most states at this point. Like, right, we've done a lot. Things feel very different in 2021 when the boys talked to you. It was very much a thing. I mean, it was also coming out of lockdown, so it couldn't be
Right.
more than this. But it really felt like a bedroom recording project.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm still in a bedroom, but like this is definitely not that. I mean, we're getting ready to go back out on the road again, another
Mm-hmm.
month-long tour. Like we've done the van thing. We're gonna do the van thing again. So it's just a grind, man. And it's also, I think those things, the touring thing is uniquely accessible for 21-year-old kids who
Yeah.
can both physically withstand uh, not spending money on hotels and sleeping or not sleeping in vans, and also not worrying about rent or not really worrying about coming off a year or two of touring and taking that gamble. And maybe it doesn't work out for them, but like it's fine because then they're 25 and they can just start something new. Whereas
Yeah.
we're a little older. And I think a lot of people in rock these days are a little older, and it's a little trickier. We really got to thread some needles to make everything work.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a game.
Yeah, for sure. Um, let's talk about the tours, since you kind of segued us there for it. So you've got Youth Fountain and Emery. Like, so to your point, things have blown up. Youth Fountain has exploded over the last couple of years. I talked to them back around 2021 as well. And they just seem to be like really making waves in the scene. And then of course you're going out with legends with Emery. I mean, what's that like? Because I'm sure you both grew up listening to Emery as well. Like, to have someone in that position, I know obviously some of the industry ties now have helped with that, but like still for them to approve good terms to be an opening act for Emery is a feather in the cap for sure.
Yeah, I think it's good validation, and like acknowledgement that helps for me. For me, it's really just helps like kind of smother the imposter syndrome, and like
Mm-hmm.
also just it's like a good affirmation of like, all right, something is happening, something is working. This is as real as I want it to be, and as we hope it would be. And it's also, it's yeah, it's approval from the scene and from the people who founded the scene and from the people who are coming up in the scene as well. This has always been like a very communal genre, and approval from the community and support from the community is super important. There isn't like, I was thinking about this the other day about like how funny it would be and how out of place it would be if there was the kind of rivalry that shows up in like pop and hip hop
Yeah.
and like where it's like, oh, so and so's beefing with so and so. It's like the idea that like, and like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure somebody has beef with somebody. Like I'm
I
sure
mean,
somebody,
there's the classic brand new versus Taking Back Sunday back in the day, but
yeah, for sure. But it's still like I
Doesn't feel competitive. It feels
doesn't feel
personal.
competitive.
right.
Like I can't imagine just like if you just heard in the grapevine, it's like, yeah, man, like like Story So Far is coming out with a diss track against Knuckle Puck. And it's like, first of all, okay,
I want to see that happen first
no one
off.
writes a diss track like Parker. So so maybe, and I believe wholeheartedly that Joe would come back in full force. But it would just be so out of place because it's not what we do.
Mhm.
You know. But yeah, it's nice to have the support growing and acknowledgement so far, and just it helps us see a path forward that isn't so insurmountable as it would seem when you're like, let's start a band.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you guys are coming to Indy on the Emery tour, so I'm definitely gonna be at that show one way or the other. So definitely we'll have to connect for that. You mentioned imposter syndrome, Ivan. I love that you did too, because I think it often gets overlooked and misunderstood because people see the success, see, oh, they're getting streams, like, they have to be, doing all right or whatever. But there's an imposter syndrome that comes with that as well, where it's like, yeah, but do I deserve this? Like, I'm just a kid from, South Philly basement, right? Like, let's pull
Yeah.
some wonder years here.
Yeah.
So talk about how that kind of affects both of you, you too, Brian, with like knowing that what you're doing is right and what you want to do, but still getting a little bit of that voice in the background that's almost saying, I don't deserve this.
Oh, you go first.
Um, yeah. I think I don't know that I could do it in any other genre. I think it's a reason that like I listen to a lot of different music and a lot of different kinds of music. Um, and I could, from my heart, just as easily find myself wanting to create and be creative in a lot of different genres. I'm often inspired by, you know, super like folk, indie, heartfelt shit. I'm also super inspired by like the poppiest pop of all time, and I just wonder like, oh man, it'd be fun to like dig my teeth into that. But I think the reason that um, I found myself creating with whom I'm creating with in the genre that we're creating is because it's a place that doesn't it's a lot less like taking a mantle and taking like, hey, look at us, and more just like us too. you know, and
Yeah.
so that really helps me kind of stave off those feelings, which they come anyway, because I still ask like, well, who am I to say us to, and so on and so forth. But it's also tough when, um, you know, you are the sausage factory. You're seeing how the sausage is made. Like everyone else is a black box to you, but you're inside of yourself. You can see all the flaws and all of the, the the shit inside that you don't think about when you hear someone else's lyric or see someone else play live, and you're just like, they're fucking awesome, and like I totally feel that line. Like it's not contextualized by every shame that that person knows from themselves, the way that it is with you, and it's tough, but it's also like knowing objectively that everyone else is feeling that way is helpful. But it's really the genre itself is really helpful in so far as like again just helping, like being a part of the community, and instead of just like um, I'm not a huge fan of the spotlight. Despite what people who've seen me with my hair blowing back on stage may think, and not realizing that the fan was always there. I just recently started taking my hair down.
It's my favorite thing to say to people when they talk about it.
They're like, "Oh man, you got the Beyonce fan." I'm like, "Man, the fan's been there a lot longer
Mhm.
than the long hair. The fan was there from the start, so I don't pass out from a heat stroke."
Right.
And I've finally just like given into the rest of, mostly kid and whatever, be like, can you let your fucking hair down, man? It looks cool on stage. I'm like, well, it feels hot as shit, and I think I look like a weird 30-year-old impression of Jerry Garcia, which is absolutely not what I want, and it absolutely destroys me. But
You get the Claudio comments online.
and God bless him too.
Having
I would be so lucky, but
people make that comparison on their own.
yeah, no, hey, it's I got all 10 fingies, so that's helping me away from the Jerry stuff. But no, it's tough, man. It's the imposter syndrome is always there. It's always real. And I think one, being a band is really helpful, and not being a solo artist. Fucking that's awesome, because there's always like you can kind of just pawn everything else off on everyone else.
Yeah.
And especially with like it's really hard to be sincere. And so, quoting 1975, quoting um, the infinite jest, sincerity is scary. But being able to hide behind the other members and other writers of my band, where it's like, if I write something really sincere and heartfelt and I feel embarrassed or like, impostery about it, I can always just be like, well, no one knows who wrote it. And,
Mhm.
and it helps to just have that kind of shield and that, all together kind of aspect of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't feel imposter syndrome necessarily. I mean, you're right about the genre. The genre has a lot to do with it. Like when you play, I've been in spaces performing and playing other genres that I, as a musician, love playing, and then as a person in the spotlight, I don't feel the same comfort. But now, like, when we step out on stage to play for, we're going to open for Emery, and no one's going to know who we are. Which was the same thing we opened for Hawthorne Heights earlier this past year. And, all these sold out crowds that, like, none of them know who we are. And I just kind of know, I'm very confident, our set. I know our set's going to be fun. I kind of look at it, I use this analogy a lot. It kind of just feels like surfing, where I just go out and I see the whole crowd, and I'm just like, I mean, this is gonna be fun. Like I'm about to have a blast. I know what I want to do. I know I'm going to, if we're gonna play Jump by Van Halen, I'm gonna get down in their face and make them jump. And like what they think of that, I don't isn't really is kind of beyond me. I just
Yeah.
know, but I know that's what I'm gonna do, and it's gonna work. At least I'm gonna achieve what I want to achieve. What I notice more than imposter syndrome for myself is um people don't know, just people's perspective is not like, or like view of you not lining up with what reality is. Like remember
Mhm.
we went to Missouri and we're setting up for Missouri, and Missouri was super cool. They, when they came us in and we covered the Blondie song, and they, treated us like total rock stars. Like they have, if you've seen their channel, they have massive people come in to do stuff for their company, and they treat us seemingly just like they treated them, you
Yeah.
know. all the teams of engineers setting up all the stuff, like people getting the food, whatnot. And I remember somebody asking us, like, "So this is your day job, right? Like, you guys have been doing this for a while now?" And we're just like, "What? Absolutely not, dude.
Yeah.
This
No,
is
man.
like, this is one of the first endeavors we've done that pays for itself. Like, we're
Yeah.
we're 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 maybe beginning to see the crest of that hill, um, but like we're not, we're not even there yet. And even like the videos of us playing to those sold out crowds, the way they perform on social media, people not understanding why those crowds aren't going hard for our breakdowns. It's because like, well, they're not our crowds. Like
Yeah.
they paid to see Hawthorne Heights. They have no fucking
Yeah.
clue who Good Terms is. And I actually thought that they were a very warm audience. And I
Hmm.
see what you mean. I see what you mean in a vacuum. It looks like they're being super cold to us. But like I actually had a great time with them. Like they were actually super easy. That little tiny pit you see, that's right there in the corner of the screen. Like I worked really hard for that, and they gave it to me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we
We've
also
all been to a show and saved our energy for the people we came to see. Like we
Yeah.
we know
yeah,
that, but we don't apply that to when we're seeing videos like yeah.
yeah, but just people don't realize how much. First of all, people don't realize how many different ways it can be. Like they
Right.
don't know the different levels. They don't know the levels of like what it feels like to play to a sold out crowd like that that doesn't know you, and to be happy with certain reactions based on all the different circumstances.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I don't really feel imposter syndrome because I'm just so pumped to do what we do. I know what we do is going to work. I know a little bit about like, especially in a live setting, I know a little bit about like crowd psychology,
Yeah.
like, what they need to see, what they want to do. I know that if people paid money for a show, they they want they want they think I'm going to see something worth that much money. So
Right.
and they'll even, like, if you jump 8 feet, they'll say that you jumped 10 feet. Like they'll add on if you pretty much nailed that guitar solo, they're gonna say that dude played the guitar solo perfectly.
Yeah.
If you sang mostly on key the whole time, they're gonna go like it sounded like he had tuning. Like they're gonna do that extra bit just because they want you to succeed. Like they don't want to see a bad show. No one wants to
Right.
stand there seeing a bad show. So if they're seeing something they like, they're going to, on their own, hype it up even more. Which I'm just like psyched to be a part of. I just like what we do.
Yeah, for sure. And I think too, I tell people all the time on this podcast, like, I can't tell you how many times I've been to shows, and I think you guys are probably the same. And the headliner is who I'm there to see, right?
Of course.
But man, you get there early, and sometimes you discover those opening bands, and you're like, oh, I fuck with this. Like, this is going on rotation now. And I
Mm-hmm.
think there for a while that kind of became a lost thing. And I still see it as a concert photographer and whatnot that, like, oh, the openers, taking stage, and it's like maybe half full, if that. But by the time the headliner's there, it's a packed out house, and it's like, you guys don't understand the show that you just missed. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get people have jobs, responsibilities, whatever, like things happen. But I guess I say all that to say, like, that's going into like these tours with Youth Fountain and Emery, like, to that point of they are kind of acknowledging that you guys are a component of the scene that they
Mm-hmm.
support. Like, come out and see those bands because there's a reason that they opened for these
Hmm.
artists, like they were selected for this.
Yeah, man. And there's nothing like a good bill. There's
Yeah.
nothing like a bill that is just stacked with the correct, whether it's a mixed bill or an all one genre bill, or they're just friends or whatever it is. Like there's nothing like a whole night that is just the right shit put back to
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. And if you're going to bitch about ticket prices, go to the whole damn show
The
so that
whole
you get
thing,
your
yes.
value of it,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's funny too. Like when sometimes people who are at those Hawthorne shows that have now become Good Turbans fans, like they say, like, "You guys blew Hawthorne away," and I'm like, well, I watched Hawthorne set off. We're doing spin jumps, we're doing crazy. The hair is blowing back in the
Yeah.
wind. Like they're not doing any of that. But it's
Not
like
anymore.
Hawthorne gets to go on and play Nikki FM,
Right.
Yeah.
and connect with like these 20-year built up memories, and they don't have to work as hard to like achieve the catharsis versus
Hmm.
like us, like you don't know our songs. Maybe
Right.
jump. Um, if we're gonna play jump. So opening bands, we're fucking hungry, dude. Opening, not to say that like Hawthorne isn't fucking going for it. Not to say that Emery won't be going for it. I'm sure Youth Fountain will be going for it. I mean, we're gonna play as the backing band in Youth Fountain, so that we'll be going for it.
Right.
But not to say that headliners aren't going for it, but like uh a hungry opening band is gonna try to fly, dude.
Yeah.
They're
Mhm.
peacocks. You gotta let them fly.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I think, to that point, like, by no means knocking Emery, because those guys, I've seen them
Oh yeah.
many times, and their energy is off the chart, especially as older guys in the scene. But I think the crazy thing is, like, there are so many bands that get to that headline spot, and you're right, they, especially if they're, well established, the foot comes off the throttle just a little bit, because we've done our bit. Like, we're gonna play well, we're gonna have fun, but we've done our bit.
Mhm.
And then to your point, the opening and support bands, it's, hey, we want to be
Right.
where they're at or better, so we're putting everything out here.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, because if you're Emery, you can go out and play the first couple notes of a song standing still, and that is going to achieve a level of fireworks that we have to do spin jumps to achieve with our songs people don't
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. And like both are, I mean, we're both, definitely not knocking like
No,
headline bands like
no, not at all.
that. What they're able to achieve massive firework shows uh very easily. Um
It's also important to note that, like, depending on the scope of what you're considering, like, yeah, when you show up to an Emery show, if you're considering, like, well, what they're doing on stage right now, it's like, it's what they did for 20 years. Like,
yeah, totally.
we have to work really hard to get you to sing our lyrics because you've never heard them before. Emery's worked very hard for 20 years for you to make sure that when they play, like,
Yeah.
everyone's going to sing Three Sleepless Nights. Like, everyone knows what to do next. And that's because they've been putting in the work for that many years. It's like when you hire like an artisan to like do something and it takes them 5 minutes, and it's like, why is it so expensive for 5 minutes? Like, oh, it's not for 5 minutes. You're paying me for 20 years
Yeah.
to do this in 5 minutes and to do it right. And it's like, yeah. So like, I'm sure if we um, showed up and uh, knew that everyone was going to sing the opening verse to the song that we started with, we would conserve a little bit of energy and maybe like be a bit more focused with it. But as it stands right now, we have to start at 100 miles an hour and figure out how to get to 200,
Yeah.
um,
We're the
which is
drink
not
behind the
sustainable.
right.
But hopefully, if we do that for long enough, then we'll get some gas from the crowd. Like, that's the thing, is like, the energy, the total energy is the same in the room. It's just that with these established bands, a lot of that energy is coming from the crowd, whereas for
Right.
us, it's so much having to come from us to, like, hey, do you want to like balance this out? And so, like, you get like, if you've ever seen a Story So Far show, and it's like, Parker could be
I was gonna say
catatonic,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely catatonic, but it's because he's put the fucking work in, and you know what to do. And
It's
it's
a
almost
great
like, yeah,
when I'm at a Story So Far show, I like physically have eyes on Parker for like 3 minutes. And the
Hmm.
rest of the time, there's shit going on, dude. I'm in the
Yeah.
pit, I'm singing. There's 100 people around me singing. Like, I don't care what he does.
yeah,
Like, we're just happy that they're here and we're here and we're gonna go off, dude.
Yeah. No,
exactly.
I totally agree with that. I will say, love the story for so far, love Parker, but as a concert photographer, he's
Oh,
boring
sure.
as shit to shoot, because damn it,
I
just
guess
move
as your perspective, maybe
yeah.
that'd be different.
But to the same point as you guys, though, like, I've never walked out of the pit or the show and been like, man, that was shit. Like, I'm not happy with
Yeah,
what was there. Like, I still love seeing him perform, and the guys perform, because like, they've done that establishing, and they've done this really cool thing where people just, we know Parker's gonna kind of just stand around, walk around a little bit. You may get a couple arm flails, and you're just gonna have a good fucking time.
And he's
Whereas,
gotten you to perform for him,
yeah,
and that
exactly. Yeah, he's
is so
transferred the.
impressive.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
transferred.
I don't give a shit what he does. Like I'm just there to be in the crowd, dude.
Hmm.
Like he can I mean it's cool that he sounds great now. You know,
Yeah,
I know when he's like less mobile, I know that he has like a better vocal performance, but like dude, who cares? Like we're just at a story so far show. Like I'm
Hmm.
yeah,
happy to fucking be alive.
right,
Yeah.
for sure. Let's talk a little bit about, you guys have a new single coming out called Progress, and I think aptly named for where we're at in you guys' stories and careers, right? Like, it's been a long time coming. You're seeing all this progress and kind of growth. Before we get into the song, I'm sure it wasn't written exactly around this time, but I think this would be a good time, kid, for us to kind of talk about the progress you've seen in 2025 so far. For those that aren't familiar, you unfortunately lost your home in the California wildfires, but out of that came some really beautiful stuff. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I lost. Yeah, the lyrics are way older than that. But yeah, I lost my house in early January, California wildfires, along with the whole town of Altadena. I was out of town. I was at my grandma's funeral. So Steph, my now fiance, had to deal with all of it by herself, which was just absolutely brutal. And we lost. I mean, we lost. All of our material possessions. I have my laptop, which is sweet. uh, and I had a couple days of clothes because I was at the funeral. But all my guitars and whatnot, they are rest in peace, all my old guitars. And for Stephanie, I mean, she had more heirlooms. I mean, she had a lot more like irreplaceable things than
Yeah,
I did. Like she had like her dad's Grateful Dead T-shirt collection from the '70s, like stuff that you just can't.
right.
I mean, maybe you could buy all that shit back, but it's not going to be your dad's.
Yeah, it's not the same at that point.
Um, but yeah, so that obviously felt like being dropped off a cliff. Uh, but it was interesting how many nice things happened immediately. Like okay, so my boys set up a GoFundMe, right? Like Ivan
Mhm.
and Zach set up a GoFundMe for me, which is amazing. And the first person that I think donated money to that was a drummer of a band that like that I technically am still in. We've never called it quits. It's just been like a year and a half since we did anything, maybe
That's your
2 years
warning, Ivan.
ago.
He's running away.
Um, and when I saw, and sometimes I was like, I keep it like fragmented contact in with the other members, but I've really not been able to keep in contact with him, and it's made me sad. And when I saw his name, I mean, I was already pretty primed to do this, but I just teared up right away. And all of these names of these people from like the different walks of my life, like Good Terms fans, high school friends, the drummer of my high school band, dude, people on the other side of friend groups I had in high school, like that people that I'm like maybe Facebook friends with.
Right.
Uh, that was that was really interesting. Because if you're like me, you've many times where you're like, wonder if I'm a piece of shit. I wonder if I like kind of fucking suck, like like a drain on the world, in my own special way, and to see people that I think of as the opposite of that in my life, on that list was like, am I not? Like, am I? At the very least, I've been extremely lucky to pass through a bunch of generous people's lives. Um, and I guess I haven't been a total shitbag, which is cool. I don't think I've been a shitbag, but sometimes if you're like me,
Yeah.
you're just like, but maybe I have been. And then on a that's on a very personal level. And then also just to watch like all of Los Angeles come together to try to
Yeah.
cushion the blow for Altadena and the Pacific Palisades and the other communities that had these things happen to them, these disasters. Um, it's We're in a time where it's very easy to lose faith in humanity. Um, well, my AC just turned off and now it's so quiet. We're at a time where it's very easy to lose faith in humanity because there's just if you want to look at those stories, there are a million of them, and to be constantly inundated with like this community did this thing and these people did this thing and
Yeah.
uh, and just have this like constant like people actually want to put a lot of effort into doing good things and helping people was I mean even beyond me being involved in losing my house was just like oh if I hadn't lost my house this would be a really big deal to see
Yeah.
and then the music industry interesting how supportive the music industry was. Like you can see, like, I have these guitars behind me,
Hmm.
and uh, Guitar Center, Gibson, Fender, uh, Neural DSP. I'm certainly leaving out some brands, but those brands gave to me directly, along with probably hundreds, if not thousands, of other musicians. And it's interesting, like do healthcare workers have that in their industry? Like,
Yeah.
how many times do people go, "Huh, so glad I'm in the music industry"? It's usually not. People usually complaining about it, but it was this one time where I was like, "Dang, pretty lucky that I have 7 guitars. I bought one of them for $350 used.
Yeah.
Obviously, the J Mascis Jazzmaster. Uh, like the rest of these were all sourced by either my friends or by the companies that make them, um, which is uh, which is just different than you usually
Yeah.
think about companies. So that's kind of my takeaway from the whole thing. Like it sucks. I feel like Steph and I, and also really me in particular, just got to be one of the luckiest people in this whole situation. Um, like for the GoFundMe to be so successful, for all these companies to help out, for my insurance to pay out within 20 minutes of being on the phone with them. Shout out Home Site by Progressive,
Hey,
Mhm.
who I paid a total of $200 to, and then they gave me a lot more money than that. Um,
as an insurance agent, I'm glad to hear that because I was fully expecting you to say you got fucked.
oh,
Oh
dude. It's well, so and other people did, other
Yeah.
people in Altadena absolutely have, depending on their situation, like the homeowners or people who are renting and the house wasn't completely burnt to the ground. Like I got a clean break and the people are in really sticky situations. I feel like in like a video game with like a skill tree and you
Hmm.
can like you organize your skill tree and then you can like cash out your skill tree for like a
Yeah.
little bit of a fee and then respec everything.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I feel like I've come away with in the end,
Yeah.
which is just fucking insane. And then I have neighbors who are like, all of their personal belongings didn't burn, but they have asbestos and lead in them, and they now need to one throw it all away themselves, and two convince their insurance companies that like, no, this is a natural disaster related thing. Like, I'm
Yep.
not just getting rid of a perfectly good item. You need to reimburse me. This isn't my thing. Um, so yeah, I've been trying to. Oh, and then of course I found the ring.
Right.
Uh, I hadn't proposed. I bought the engagement ring the month before. I hadn't proposed yet. It was hidden away in my desk. Steph and I went to look through the rubble for our belongings that had survived. I found the ring. Cannot believe I found a tiny little fucking ring. I was looking for it, but still.
Right.
And I proposed right there. And there was a woman was passing by, passing out waters. And she took a picture of us, and we put it on Facebook and Instagram, being like, "This will do well." And then it was on Good Morning America. We were on Jennifer Hudson, like all of these things. And so I feel imposter syndrome because I feel pretty lucky, especially
Right.
personally. Like these guitars are better than my old guitars, dude. These are more. I mean, they're probably maybe not like value wise, but like they're more specced to what I need them to be. I got rid of a lot of crap I didn't need, and I have better, more focused arsenals of things. So there, I felt a lot of imposter syndrome. So I tried to use, I tried to use that spotlight to be like, yo, tell the stories like I was just talking about
Yeah.
with the insurance. It's hard for my neighbors. They need support. They're gonna need support for a long time after you get tired of hearing about it. Um, so yeah, and that was part of what the progress like hackathon turned into.
Hmm.
Obviously it's not focused on Altadena specifically, but it is focused on youth and underserved communities, of which Altadena would absolutely be one of them, and any disaster related community would be one of them, and any underserved community. You know, music has been such a big part of my life, obviously. And even if I didn't do it professionally, like I think it's just the lens through which I view the world, and uh, you know, it would be really nice if we could help someone grow that branch of their life, and kind of gain a new way to interact with the world. And if we, that's what Notes is doing, and that's what Mizora is doing. Notes for Notes. I'm going to plug this real quick. Notes for Notes,
Yeah, go
a
for it.
charity that we're donating our walkathon proceeds to. They give youth and underserved communities access to studios and instruction to learn how studios work, to perform their own music and get produced, and hopefully have like a pretty profound musical experience. The way it is the way it is to hear yourself produced back for the first time. Like when I first heard the Good Term song "All I Can" produced by Zach for the first time, and I was like, "That's me, dude." That changed my whole life.
Yeah.
And I was already doing the music thing full time. And then Musora is going to match those donations with subscriptions to their online music lessons. So it's a complete package there.
Yeah.
You get the spark, you get the studio experience, and you get some of the continued music lessons, so that you can really, like I said, grow this branch of your life.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for those that don't know about the Walkathon, you've got the single progress dropping on May 22nd, and then on Saturday, May 24th, you guys are doing the Walkathon,
Yes,
the
sir.
progress Walkathon.
Singles on the 21st. We moved it.
Yes.
We
Oh,
moved it. It's on the
not
21st.
according to my press release.
I Maybe we
No,
did move it. I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. You've been in that group chat. But it is one of those days for sure.
Right.
But the walkathon is for sure on the 24th. That is definitely true.
Yeah. So let's kind of, following that train of thought with progress, right? 2025 is rolling out. You guys have the single dropping, you've got the walkathon, you've got tours lined up. We kind of talked about it earlier. You didn't have a ton of shows over the last few years. You're really making an effort between last year and this year. Talk a little bit about that type of progress and how that hunger seems to just be growing. And you're really driving for, this is not just the hobby that some people think it is. Like, I want this.
I just talked forever. Do you want to should I keep going?
Yeah, I mean, butt in whenever you want. Um, it's definitely like it's he already talked about how like hard it is to do and hard it is to tour. Um, Especially when you're in your budding 30s and not your budding 20s. And it's tough. Like there's so many good reasons why this is a bad time in your life to try to do this. Like, in your 20s, there's just so much flexibility. There's so much like odds are you're probably still pretty close to living at home and you have a lot of like, lifted responsibilities and in your 30s like you're living with somebody, maybe you're married, maybe you're getting married, maybe you're established, you have pets and plants and your friends are getting married and having kids and like there's so many like responsibilities and things that are kind of required of you that make it really really difficult. Um so I'm just saying that it's really impressive that we're touring as much as we're touring and we're going to keep doing it, especially without any you know financial support or even gain. um, it's a hard time to, we're starting a fire in the rain right now,
Yeah.
and it's taking a lot of effort. But um, it's also like a bit of a boon year. Like um, things are lining up. Like I work professionally in music touring, and the main band that I work with is gone to ground to make a record, which is a great time for us to capitalize on that availability and also just kind of reorganizing how I and we all do stuff and creating new ways to kind of feed the band as far as like we're trying to get out of self-production and into working with other people so we can take some of the weight and time off of ourselves to be able to do more of like the artist stuff and less of the administrative. Please don't get us wrong. We still are doing so much of that. I mean, kid alone with social media, and it's a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot to do, and there's a lot of stuff that is asking for our time that we have so precious little of. But, you know, when those opportunities come, they have to be seized on. And we talk every day about how to seize them and how to, make sure that we're getting the most juice for the squeeze. And I think, again, it comes down to that recognition of like, if we're being given these opportunities, we're going to take them um, as much as we can and in the best ways that we can. And, hopefully, gain a fan every show we play, and if not more, and um, find creative ways. Like, the thing that's nice about being in your 30s and doing this is like you have some experience under you. You're not making as many mistakes. Um, you're not a fucking idiot as much as you were 10 years ago, which is really helpful. You think about things like, oh, we're going to bring a cooler with like yogurt for breakfast. And like, just
Yeah.
little things where it's just like help make it sustainable when you're, sore every day from not even from doing that much. Maybe yesterday was an off day and you're still really just sore. But we're
Yeah, but real quick on an off day, but still 6 hours, 8 hours in the van is where
oh,
that soreness comes from,
Five,
you know?
15, 15.
Yeah, like
we live in the United States of America. This is too big. This country's too big. I'll say it.
yeah,
Hey, I'll say it. It's too big. There's too much of it, and there's a lot of space in between. If we were a European band, or if we only toured the East Coast, even, that's awesome. Like, I have toured for a month in the United Kingdom. Like, England is the size of North Carolina.
yeah.
That is the landmass of.
Yeah, how do you tour for a month in the UK?
Yeah, that's exactly because there's fucking population dense, and it's like, oh, we got a hell of a drive today. It's 3.5 hours, and there's gonna be some traffic. It's like, oh, is there? Is there?
That's how long
Okay.
it takes me to get to Chicago. That's a fucking day trip easy.
Yeah, man. Like, I can drive the coastline of England and not get to Seattle yet. It's like,
Right.
um, not exactly. It's quite intertwined. But regardless, it's really tough when you don't have the resources to make it as easy. You don't have a driver and a bus and even a double driver what you need sometimes when there's, you know, so much distance between these places and you're playing Denver and then Salt Lake the next day. And it's like, that's, you know, that's a fucking pilgrimage, man. That's a long fucking ways away. But again, being smart, understanding how to navigate those things. Like, it's funny, good terms isn't yet my day job, but touring and music in and of itself is my day job. And
Hmm.
I'm really glad that for all the time that it took away from, this band where I was on the road with somebody else, it's like, okay, well, I can bring all that here and really try to, help contribute in that way. But we're picking up steam in a way that feels really tangible and really, really good. And also just like it seems like we have a plan and more people behind that plan than just us, as it's been for, the years prior. And it's it's really helpful and I don't know, hopeful. It's
Yeah,
very exciting.
yeah. We've also like every time we go out, we make these tangible improvements that are kind of what you were talking about, but like to expand on that. Like last year, the very first run we did was the first run we did with our new rig, where we didn't have any amps and everything was just contained in the rig, and then we learned something about how that was going to change things and make things easier. And then the next tour we did, we tightened up the show. We had these extra elements in the show. We gave away the T-shirt with a Hell Yeah Sibling of the Night, which we tightened up. Um, and then after that, we did the headlining show. Like every time we do something, we learn something, and we get to implement a new thing, um, and it just makes us like that much more confident in at least the shows. And we were
Yeah.
getting better at figuring out how to get from Salt Lake to Denver in one day. Like maybe that doesn't look like getting to the hotel right after the first show and then waking up at 6 in the morning and leaving. Maybe we drive halfway there
Yeah.
because we're not going to fall asleep anyway because we just played a show and we're going to have adrenaline. So let's drive like till like 3 o'clock in the morning and then maybe sleep until like 9 o'clock, uh, whole 6 hours,
Right.
in the hotel.
Sleep
Uh,
in, by the way, till 9.
Yes. Yeah, I
Sleep
heard
in till
that.
9, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Internalize that.
and there's just little things like that every time, that make it a little easier and make it so that when showtime comes, um, we're a little bit more prepared, we're a little more confident. And showtime is doors. Like showtime isn't just our set. Like every chance that someone can interact with you as the band Good Terms
Yeah.
is part of the show. And
Yeah.
all of that you kind of gotta be you gotta kind of gotta be on. You can't be a dick. You can't be stressed out. You can't have a hungry version of you. Um, you can't have pre Snickers bar version of you walking around the venue. Like you got to
Yeah.
have a certain you got to be on. So all of that just helps us so that when those times come, we're like, okay, this is how I want to be. This is what I want to do.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool that you guys have recognized that because I've been doing music journalism and concert photography for this is the 21st year. So like a minute, right?
Mhm.
And I've seen exactly the opposite of what you just said, kid, where like you do see them have the attitude and like maybe load in or sound check didn't go so well. And they're just kind of like not like out and out mean, but just kind of short tempered or abrasive or whatever. And it's like they don't really want to interact. And it's like, I get it, but people spent money to come see you.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
I hate to be the guy that says you owe it to them, but you owe it to them because
What
they're
kind of
allowing
product
you
do
to be
you?
here.
Yeah, what kind of products do you want to provide?
Yeah.
Like it's your product, but like, what do you want to provide? What do you want people to take away from
This
yours?
is a service industry,
Mm-hmm.
like first and foremost. And like I remember even just working, waiting tables years ago. It's like everyone knows, like when you show up to your local version of Applebee's to wait tables and be really stoked if you get a few $100 at the end of the night. It's like everyone knows like this is gonna suck.
Mm-hmm.
But like you don't have to be here. It's a choice, regardless of how you decide to define choice and whatever. But don't make it miserable. Check your shit at the door and like we're all here. Let's try to make it good. Even though it's gonna try to be bad because it's fucking tough.
Mhm.
And it's, the difference is um I never dreamed about being a waiter. So it's like checking yourself and remembering that um, whatever today is to you is not what it is to the person that might interact with you in 5 minutes. And that's it's. I remember the first time and the subsequent times, maybe even that I've met anyone that I give a shit about. I remember every single moment of it, which is a haunting thing to hear for any of those people. And it's a haunting thing to realize that might be for me now or in the future. But it's also good to remember. It's like, you know, fucking put your whole ass into everything that you can, and um, and try to make sure that you're always representing yourself the way that you want to be. And it's not about being fake. It's about making sure that you can separate and you know uh, compartmentalize what did happen during load in and sound check, and just be grateful for we're here, the very much like the show must go on kind of thing. Yeah, and be super stoked about the next person you talk to that is hopefully a new fan or maybe a returning fan, which is fucking rad, or somebody who fucking hates you and it's like thanks for the thought, man. I don't give a shit. Like,
Hey,
but
those hate
yeah.
comments drive engagement just the same, sometimes
Oh,
better.
wait, yeah, 100%. Thanks for your consideration.
Yeah.
Um, I love when people point out shit that is wrong or like little errors. I'm just like, wow, you had to pay pretty close attention to notice that, huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
and thanks for taking the time out of your day for us. And nothing upsets a troll more than acknowledging that they've wasted something on you and that you're fine.
Right. It's a great way to look at it. And more artists in general need to look at it that way too. Cause like it's really easy, and I'm sure you guys are guilty of it from time to time, where like you get sucked into the hate comments a little bit or whatever, and it's
Wait,
like,
oh, yeah.
that kind of sucks, like I thought we did really good there or whatever. But then when you change your mindset, like you said, Ivan, to just like, yeah, but they spent time to figure that thing out.
Hmm.
So like, fuck them. They wasted time, not me.
I've also, because like obviously I like deal firsthand with the hate comments and like what to
Yeah.
do about them, and I've just like never left a hate comment on something. Like I've just never taken time out of my day to do that, and don't really
I,
relate.
yeah, I don't understand the thought process behind it.
Yeah, like if I see something that I don't like, I
I
don't.
move on.
Yeah, I don't interact with it. Like I don't tell the algorithm, "Hey man,
Send
I
me
spent
more good
more time
turns.
on the app doing this." Yeah. Um, so there's just kind of like a like, look, man, who's losing in this situation? Like this is frustrating for me. I don't like hearing your diss on the thing that I did, but like ultimately, who is losing here? The algorithm is seeing that my thing is getting interacted with, and you are what? What are you getting out of this, man?
Yeah.
Algorithm does not discriminate what type of engagement.
Yeah.
It sees engagement. And dude, thank you so much for the engagement.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So I'm not always. I'm never snarky back anymore. Um, I have my own ways of like feeling snarky, but I usually try to cut it off,
Yeah.
before it gets to the point where I'm like actually engaging. But yeah, we always say, sorry, I don't like it, which usually results in oh, I actually do like it. Sorry, I was being a dick. Um, or just I remember like recently someone commented uh on a video of me screaming. They were like, "Oh, I scream better." And I
Okay,
wanted,
cool.
and it was me screaming on Sirius XM performance, and I wanted to go, "That's sick, dude. Link your video of you screaming on Sirius XM in
Right.
like a toilet." And but you know what? I just cut off the dumb part about linking their own video, and I just
Yeah.
said, "Sick, dude," because that is sick, dude.
Right.
That's fine. Like I don't know why you would leave that comment. It is sick that you think you're a better screamer. Do it. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Fucking weird that you commented that, but like cool. And then they did comment, I am just joking. I like your scream. Like, yeah, really don't understand why you would comment what you commented, but like, good thing I wasn't a jackass.
Yeah. Well, and like the only thing I can think of sometimes with those is they say the dicky thing to get you to respond so that then they can be like, oh, well, good terms responded to me, or, so and so
mhm.
responded to me. And it's like, I would have responded to love too, like it's okay.
And again, this is the same thing with people thinking that, they're thinking that you're in a different place than you are. Like, people definitely attack us like we are uh making a ton of money,
Yeah.
and like faking it and like doing a bunch of fake shit to make a ton. Not a lot of people interact with us in that way, but like every once in a while, there's just somebody who's like hates that I'm playing the social media game, and thinks that that means that I'm like talentless. Uh, and I just like I've come real close to challenging people to guitar off battles online because
That would
I'm
be
pretty
dope.
confident in myself. You know what I mean? But
That
but
would
I
be
don't.
dope.
But I don't.
Charge
Uh,
them an entry fee as well so that they can pay you to try to beat you.
Oh,
Mhm.
dude, that'd be funny, man. But yeah, I just go like, dude, I'm fine with my guitar playing. Even if I wasn't as good as I am, I'd probably still be fine with my guitar playing. Who cares? That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
I'm not, but also like, why would you comment something so mean? I am not making $1 million off of playing the content game. Uh, I'm just a dude in a band who plays covers on the weekends, who is trying to not play
Play
covers,
his own song on the
play
weekends.
play original songs on weekdays.
In
Uh,
a 9 to 5 setting. Not
in
really.
a 9 to 5 setting, in a 5 to 9 setting.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, we could spin that a little bit. Awesome, man. So I've enjoyed this conversation a lot. I'm stoked that you guys have taken the time to do this, and really want people to check out the new work. Get out to these shows on tour. So kind of the thing that I do as we transition to the end, I refuse to think of better questions, so I just buy these stupid card games. This one's called Hot Takes, and it's just shitty opinions about things. So we'll see if you agree, disagree, want to expand on anything.
Fine from this.
Yeah. So we'll just start with superstitions are real.
Superstitions are real. What what's a
Here's
superstition?
the thing about superstitions being real is that uh there's no how much are you losing by believing that they're real?
Right.
Because
To me, that it's subjective. If I believe that it does something for me, then it wins, and I'm going to keep doing
right, like if I don't step on the crack, my mom's back is
it. Right.
it's not going to break. Like it
Right.
Can't
never
prove a
has.
negative.
Never. So I'm going to go ahead and say sure. That's what I'm going to say sure.
Yeah, I think it I've been like inundating myself in the world of philosophy because I am have nothing else better to do. At least I have nothing else better to do with my ears while I'm doing a lot with my body.
Right.
Um, and it brings up the point of, perception and reality and like, yeah, and self-fulfilling prophecies. And like, if you kind of work something into existence hard enough, it'll happen. Not necessarily even talking about manifesting, but like, you know, if you wake up negative, like the odds are you're gonna have a fucking negative time. And there's superstitions can kind of prove themselves
Hmm.
if you try hard enough, especially negative ones.
Yeah.
If someone's like, well, I just walked under a ladder, so now I'm going to do something stupid. It's like, well, you just
Yeah.
told your fucking brain that it's stupid. And I just saw something that was like, oh, Pete Holmes was talking about um, like
I love
words are
Pete.
words are. It's like words aren't just words. Words are fucking spells, man. It's like
Yeah.
you've ever dated somebody who calls you dumb. It's like you know what I'm talking about. It's like words are powerful, man. And language literally affects the way that you view the world. Um, and it's, I don't know. Yeah, I think superstitions are absolutely real. But also to quote, I think Michael Scott, I'm just a little stitious.
Yes. It is
You
Michael
know,
Scott. Solid reference. Solid
gotta
reference.
gotta get him in there.
Yeah.
Um,
Next one is orange juice is better with pulp.
Whoa.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, well,
Okay. I actually have the correct answer for this.
Okay.
Right?
I'm all for it. Yeah.
Pulp, the presence of pulp does not make the orange juice better. It is a false correlation. What the presence of pulp means is that you are less likely to be dealing with concentrate or at least a less percentage of concentrate. If pulp is present, then it's not just from concentrate.
Yeah.
It's probably maybe there's part of it that's diluted with concentrate, but there is a part of it there that is just juice. So when pulp is present, you're pretty sure, you know, okay, this is closer to the real thing. So it tastes better, not because of the pulp. Pulp is texture. Pulp is not necessarily flavor, although again, it brings along with it the better likelihood of more natural just juice. So that's why people are like, well, I prefer it with pulp. It's like, it's just an easy way to guarantee a better product versus like if it's not with pulp, because like absolutely 100% infallibly, no pulp, pure orange juice is from God. It's incredible. But you can't guarantee sometimes if it's no
Yeah.
pulp what you're getting. It's just easy when it's with pulp. You're a pretty good idea.
this is kind of a tangent. It's not about orange juice, but like, I recently we had a big jug of pre-mixed margarita,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and we had the store-bought one, but we also bought a massive amount of limes, and we spent way too much time juicing all those limes and mixing that in with the premix, which was awesome. The margaritas were fucking great, and there would be little bits of pulp and lime in the margarita, especially at the end. And
Mm-hmm.
the lime juice obviously made the premix better. Don't know if the pulp really did anything, but when you would interact with the pulp, there'd be a little bit of that like, oh yeah, this is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things. It's kind of like when you're listening to a really good live guitar take and there's some extraneous guitar noise. Like extraneous guitar noise might not be good on its own, but it hits the spot when you're just like, That
And
motherfucker
subconsciously reminds you that
rock and
someone's
roll.
playing it.
Yeah, that motherfucker played
You're
that
the
thing.
person behind the guitar.
Yeah, that's real. That's some real
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all know real shit.
Uh, this one's just kind of wild. If you drink all of the Kool-Aid from the Kool-Aid man, he will live.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Is he the jar or is he
he'll
the
have such an
Kool-Aid?
empty life though.
Well, I like your question. Is he the jar? Is he the Kool-Aid? I was just talking with somebody about the ship of Theseus, and like,
If
oh,
you were.
kid, it was you. And Gio's car, our friend who is slowly but surely completely replacing his Subaru. Uh, what
It's a
is
Subaru. That's why.
the essence
What
of
makes a
Kool-Aid
Subaru a
Man?
Subaru? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you take away the Kool-Aid Man, is he just the man?
Mm,
No?
yeah.
Um, I guess the better question is why are you drinking him?
Yeah. If he's a person, like why are you
Uh,
doing it? It's like I saw a meme going on a tangent like Kid did. I saw a meme the other day that said there's ice cream in the movie Zootopia, which means one of them is getting milked, and that's fucking disturbing.
And at least, maybe it's sensual milking, but it changes what ice cream is.
Right. Yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, man, there are seats inside of cars.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
What
remember someone
what does
because
that fucking mean? You know, like
Yeah.
that's fucking terrifying. Like you see convertible cars, they have seats in them. For who?
Right.
Do small cars grow up to be big cars? What's the lore there? It's disturbing to think about, and
you
it
imagine that there are totally humans who ride the cars in the Cars universe, and they have a whole worked out thing for like what their relationship is and how that works out. And the movies just like happen to take place when they're like going to the bathroom or something. Like
or
we just missed them, dude.
or the humans are the inside out of the cars.
Mm,
Ooh, yeah,
But yeah,
dude.
yeah.
You
it's
and we should
definitely
take a
like
Pixar movie, dude.
honestly, yeah, that's what actually needs to happen. We need to find a billionaire benefactor who has bad instincts but good taste.
I feel
That's
like
what this
there's
is
some
all
out
for.
there.
That's what this is all working for.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
this, all the music, yeah.
like here's what I'll tell you. You will lose money on this because it will not go well, but it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Here's
For
the
the
thing.
people that connect with it, it's
Yeah.
going to be a killer show.
Here's the thing. We have a song we need a music video for. It's a 3-minute song. We're thinking a 90-minute music video.
Yeah.
All right,
Small budget.
Rascal
You know.
Flats.
Oh my God, yeah. Small $10 million budget. I mean,
All the elite voice actors too, right? Like
yep.
Oh yeah.
Jack Black has to be
So we
somebody
gotta
in
get Tom
there.
Hanks attached to this music
Tom
video.
Hanks has to be in it. Yeah, like Patrick Stewart. I mean, yeah, be crazy. Last one we'll go with before we transition to the end here, and that is peeing in pools is gross.
Oh, is that a hot take? Of course, peeing in pools is gross. How would peeing in pools not be gross?
So the argument that I've had other artists make on that specific one is that there's so much chlorine that it dilutes and dissolves, quote
And
unquote.
that's awesome, but it's still not gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, getting out of a pool to go pee sucks
Yes.
real bad. You're cold. The bathing suit's gonna stick to you. When you pull it back up, bathing suit's gonna be cold. It's just a bad
The experience is
textured
terrible.
thing they have on the bathroom floor is just like
Yeah.
stepping on Legos the whole time. Absolutely crazy experience. But yeah, even if you can sterilize it with chlorine, like awesome feather in the cap for chlorine makers, but still maybe not a reason to go in the pool.
Here's what I'll say. Gun to my head. I got 10 seconds to answer. Sure. Yeah, it's gross. If you really want to think about, first of all, if I own the pool, shut the fuck up. I own this pool and
Fair.
do what I want. Maybe if there's 15 people in it, what are you doing? But if you really want to spend the time thinking about the
Oh,
stew that you're in, pee or no
oh,
pee,
pools are
Yeah.
gross.
like
It's like baths.
gross. It's
Well,
like
I'm gonna sit in my own dirt. Like
no one's thinking twice about peeing in the ocean.
No, definitely not. Being in the
And
ocean
And if you get stung by a jellyfish, you're begging someone to pee on you.
Yeah.
And maybe if your proclivities are elsewhere, otherwise, and that's fucking rock and roll, man. No judgment here. This is a safe zone. But yeah, I think of all of the things, like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone in my life go, oh, you know what? I had diarrhea 14 days ago. I actually can't get in this hot tub.
Yeah.
That's never happened.
No.
Ever, 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 ever.
Yeah, I mean,
Ever.
especially as an adult
Right.
who's had stomach issues, there was
I
a
don't
while
I
there
don't
where there
think
wasn't a
I get the
14-day
last.
period.
No. Are you kidding me? In
Yeah.
this economy? Get fucked. Monsanto has seen well to that, brother. Yeah, no, I think yeah, it's gross to think about, but a gun to my head objectively, it's like it makes it checks out. It's like
Yeah.
Life is also gross. And
Right.
maybe
yeah,
just don't think about it.
Yeah. I
100%.
the argument I made is I think location matters because if I'm in the pool peeing in the pool, still gross, but okay. If I'm standing outside the pool peeing in the pool, I'm gonna
Oh,
fucking kill somebody.
you know what? That's important.
Yeah.
What you
Like
said there is important.
yeah,
Uh,
if somebody was standing on the deck of a pool and you saw them taking a piss into the pool, you can't tell me you're not jumping out and chasing them to beat the shit out of them. It's just gonna happen.
that is the most like toxic energy I can. That's fucking crazy. That's a wild card person.
Yeah.
Even if like if you were on a pier and there were people,
Right.
because like I you could pee off a pier if no one's
Right.
around. But if
Yeah.
someone was in the water, not even like you're not peeing on them or you're not peeing like
Yeah.
Context is
close to
everything.
them, but like you couldn't pee in the off the pier when there's people in the water. But if you were in the water with the people, I mean
You could pee.
you might want to socially distance yourself, but like
Right.
you could definitely pee and tell people and it would be not a cancelable offense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good. Optics matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're on the pier.
Oh, the pier on the
Yeah.
pier?
Yeah,
The
that's
pier
a
pier.
nightmare for a foreign national. Think about
That's an emo band name.
pier
Pier.
on the pier.
I think just pier pier.
Yeah, the pianist's penis.
Solid.
Awesome.
Solid. So the transition to the end, now that we've made a absolute fools of ourselves with that, obviously I'll give you guys all the time you need, but I'll link all the socials and everything. Tell people what you want them to know. We've got the tour coming up. Where can they find you on social media? What's the best way to interact? Anything that you won't get in trouble from on the label or anybody announcing or dropping if you need to.
So it's the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. I would say everyone get involved with that. We want Disney to know that like that's where we want them to focus their efforts is like on that time period,
Mm-hmm.
that era of Star Wars. Yeah, Ivan, you got anything else to
Yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. If you haven't seen Klaus on Netflix, it is the.
add?
I don't care that it's a Christmas movie. Watch it any time of year. It is one of the most touching stories. As a misunderstood big guy, it really hits home for me. Um, but
Dickinson's
once
good.
you've done that, come see us live and, see which shirt I'm wearing on top of another shirt that night. And we hope you like our music, and we have a lot more coming out. Some songs that we've written already that are somewhere on the horizon that I am both extremely apprehensive and concerned, but also very excited to have out there in the world. Um, and yeah, kid's a better guitarist than you. So
Yeah, man, we got a new song called Progress coming out on May 21st or 22nd, depending on which
definitely that week.
we're looking. Definitely, yeah, definitely right then. Pre-save it, please pre-save it. It does help. It does matter to people. We got the hike-a-thon, the walk-a-thon hike going on May 24th. You can participate anywhere you are. You can participate with us in Los Angeles at 10 a.m. at Elysian Park. You can also participate on your own. It is a walk-a-thon hike, so you can get people to pledge to sponsor you, and all of the proceeds will be going to Notes for Notes, who gives youth and underserved communities access to music studios so they can have profound musical experiences. And Musora is partnering with us to match those donations with subscriptions to their online music lessons. So a lot of impact that you can have on May 24th with the Walk-A-Thon hike. And then we're going on tour. We're going on tour supporting Youth Fountain May 28th to June 22nd. Full US tour, probably coming to your city. Come see us, brother. And then we are touring with supporting Emery. We're supporting Emery July 18th to the 20th. Dates fresh in my mind. I looked them up before we did this. In like the North Midwest, Michigan to Iowa area of the country. So come see us on those tours. Pre-save our music. We got a lot more songs coming out. We got more tours to announce. Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I'm stoked for you guys. Like I said, long time coming, full circle, 4 years later, and just stoked to see your growth. Going to be promoting you guys as much as I can as well. And I'll definitely be, like I said, at that Emery show in Indianapolis. So we'll connect there
Oh, yeah.
for something on that. And then yeah, like Kid said, pre-save the song, because regardless of what people tell you, that actually fucking matters when it comes to playlisting and analytics
Do
and
be
shit.
mattering.
So
Oh yeah.
awesome. Really appreciate you guys. Stoked for you. Stay safe. Have good travels. No bus incidences or anything like that. And,
Thank you, brother. Yeah,
Wish we had
Josh,
a
see you
bus
soon here.
having
See you in like 2 months.
yeah, awesome. See you guys. Appreciate you.
Peace, dude.
Cheers.